friends, today I am sharing with you some top hat gift boxes that I recently made. Now I'm going to show them all off to you first, then I'm going to show you how I made them. I'll mostly be working on one in the how-to part of this video, but there's a few others thrown in there for maybe how I did the trim or something like that. This is the part right here that the gift would go in. So you could fit jewelry or money and other small items in this part of it. So here's the first one I wanted to share with you. And shortly you'll see how these were. These are basically paper mache top hats. So they were plain brown when I first started working on them. And you can see that I added torn bits of paper, and I tried to have a color theme, if you will. So this one was green and purple. You can see here there's a little bit of green down here, and I did gold trim, and I used stickles on them, so anything that you see is shiny is stickles. And you can see I used some flowers and gold leaves. I also used ink, so I inked around the edges. The bottoms are done as well. I didn't show you the bottom of this one. This one has a gold, sort of a white and gold theme. You can see the gold flowers here, the white and gold trim lace that I used. And here is some white and gold. Inside you can see this is the color that it was, like truly a brown paper mache, like a brown paper bag. And then this actually I put gold paint on it, or bronze really I should say. So fun to make. I have some flowers here, and then I put this butterfly on a pop dot so it sticks up a little bit. This is one of my favorites. This has flowers, as you can see. You can see the sparkly stickles, little blue mushroom, couple of mushrooms down here, some more flowers. There is a, not a lace band, but a trim band, but then I covered that with more flowers. And this is painted purple right here. Here's the bottom of it. These were so fun to make, and they had been in my stash for so long, and I was so glad to finally create with them. This one was a lot of fun. This obviously is created using cards, and then I put gold stickles here. Also on him, where there was yellow, I put the gold stickles, and then I put eyelash trim around it, and then some red velvet trim here. And you can see this part's painted black, and then some more eyelash trim down here, and then more cards, and then the back has cards as well. And I wanted to share with you that I actually soaked the playing cards, and I was able to pull the top off of it, and it made it easier to apply them to this because then they were thinner. You know how cards are so thick and so stiff? Well, peeling the top layer off, it softened that and made it much easier to work with. So this one, obviously you can see, has roses on it, and pink stickles and pink trim here, more roses down here, more trim here. Just really pretty paper. Just so fun to make these. Oh, I wanted to mention to you that these could also be used as Christmas ornaments, especially one, say like this last one here. You could drill, and I've done this in the past because I had a bunch of these that I made a few years ago. Drill a hole here and drill a little hole here, or use your pokey tool, whatever, so easy. And then you can pull some sort of string through, or lace or satin ribbon or whatever you wanted to be hang it on your tree. This one, I took these flowers and I put gold stickles on the petals just to, because they're two different colors red, but it makes it work that way. And then this ribbon has gold and green. A lot of stickles on this part of it as well. Some lace and trim right here. This one is painted red inside, just on this part of it. And then here's the bottom. So like I mentioned, these were so much fun. So there's a tutorial to show you how I did these, and I hope that you enjoyed seeing them, and I will probably list some of them in my Etsy shop. So if you'd like one, have a look. I'll have them all under the same listing, but under a variety with a description. Hi friends, I hope you liked seeing the completed top hats. As you can see, they are little gift boxes, if you will, or they can be used that way. You could put money inside, jewelry, beads, baubles, all kinds of small things. So I showed them to you completed. Now I'm going to show you how I did them. So I have the top hat, obviously. I pulled 4 to 6 papers per top hat. May or may not use them all, but I wanted to have them handy so I didn't have to stop what I was doing and go look through. Then I have Mod Podge. And then obviously I will be using a variety of ribbons and other fun things. I wanted to let you know that I'm going to put a little bit of paint in the hard to reach places with paper. So for example, I would think that it would be very hard to reach this joint right here. And I'll paint underneath. Oh, actually the edge would be hard to reach with paper, this edge. So like I said, I'm going to hit that with paint because if the paper doesn't cover a tiny spot, at least you won't really be able to tell. So this one has some reds in it, some neutrals and reds. So I figured I'm going to go ahead and use this glitter paint for those hard to reach areas. Glitter paint can be transparent, a bit transparent, so I'm dabbing it like this so a thicker coat lays on there. If I pull it, you see how it starts to trail off and be translucent. So I'm dabbing it, and that way, like I said, it'll be a thicker coat that ends up in there. It won't be so thick that it'll, bother the paper or anything. I just think in the end it'll look better. Now I don't really need to paint this part of it because I want it to be able to easily open, but I still might just to make it look better. I don't want to add paper on that part for sure because then we might not be able to get the top on it actually. So we'll go ahead and paint it, but I won't use the glitter paint for that. I'm going to use something richer so that I don't have to go over it with more than one coat. Now, just to make sure there's no, you know how sometimes when you do an edge like that, it leaves a little bit of paint, sort of a thicker area right on the edge there. So I'm just doing this to make sure that didn't happen. And I'll do it over here too. I don't see much on this side though. We're just spreading it out. And that way everything dries quickly too. Okay, that's looking pretty good. The edge looks good. Our seam looks good. Now I'm going to grab a less translucent paint for this area here. I have chosen a paint called Cherry Red. This paintbrush is not the best. It's older, but I figured I'd use it one more time before I have to throw it away. So hopefully it'll get me through this project. If not, that's okay. I actually have plenty of paintbrushes. Every time I see them on sale, I end up buying them. This we don't want to be too thick because we want the hat to be able to open easily. So one coat's going to have to do the job, and we just have to accept, how it looks. All right, my friends, I got these painted. I did some in pink, some in purple, and you can see I just did the edges that might be hard to reach with paper. Here's the red one. I did pink, I did purple. I did it to coordinate the different papers that I have. So now I'm going to show you how I am going to attach the papers. Now you can use Mod Podge, which is what I would recommend, but keep in mind that when you work with Mod Podge, less is more, and so just go thin with it. All right, so I'm not sure where I want to start. You know what, I'll start with the flat surfaces and just feel this out and see how it goes. On the top of this hat, I would like this rose to be center stage. So I'm going to go ahead and get my adhesive here on the top. And now I am going to put the rose on. And I'm just going to let that dry for a minute, and then I'll come back and tear around it and use that paper elsewhere. But we're just going to set that aside, like I said, so it can dry. That way I'm not going to risk sliding it around or something like that. Now for the bottom of this, a whole sheet won't fit over it, so I already know I'm going to have to tear. I'm thinking maybe let's use this one. We know we have to tear, so let's tear it in half. Let's start with that. And then if there's going to be an edge on it, we need those edges torn as well. If you're going to tear, you want all tears and no straight lines. I mean, to me anyway, it just looks better if everything is torn. So I'm going to add some more adhesive. And I'm going to add this over here, right up to the edge. I'll press that down. Now, I don't know if I got enough adhesive right here, so I'm going to add just a little bit more just to make sure I did. There we go. All right. Now I can take this piece and I can go ahead and put it here. Maybe I'll even cut it like this. I mean, not cut, but tear. Oops. I tipped my brush a little too much. All right, so I'm going to go up this edge because we can see clearly that this edge needs some adhesive on it. And we're just going to do that again over here. Oops, but let's tear these edges off. Tear this from here and put it here like that. And then I just need a little scrap piece to go right here, and I've got one. I'm just going to take the straight edge right off of it and dip my brush one more time and pop that right on there. Now I'm just going to go over everything with a layer of glue, and we'll let that dry. And there's you can see it hanging over the edge there. But we're going to set that aside and let it dry before we move on. Now this one maybe is dry already, so let's move it over here. So I'm hoping I can go ahead and tear without pulling it off the top, but let's find out. If I'm pressing down on this, I'm putting a little weight on that, and I'm going around just nice and easy, very controlled. We'll see if it was worth the effort in just a second. I think so far so good, but we'll find out. Okay, and we have this little bit right here. There we go. Yeah, I'm happy with that. There's not much hanging over the edge. Yeah, I'm super happy with that. We have this little piece right here, and I wonder if I can just tear that away. I think I did. There we go. All right, so that's a fantastic top. I really like that. These could also be made into ornaments. I've done that, and I just drilled a little hole right here and put a hanger. Now, let's go ahead and start to work the sides here. And I think I would like this lady to be on the side. So I'm going to do this. And because this curves, and you can see that it gets it's smaller here than it is here. So we're going to have to use small strips of paper in order for it to go around properly. So this is the top, so here we go. Okay, that's how it's gonna have to be unless I want to tear from the top, and I can. Now, you know what, let's use her for an outside piece because otherwise we risk covering her up. But we can go ahead and tear this. And put this strip on, and we'll just start working some strips all the way around. There we go, I think that looks pretty good. So we'll go with the next one, not her though. Let's use, where's my red pile? Am I working in a pink pile? Here we go, here we go. Oh, here we go, here's more, I think. I don't know, I had this all nice and organized and now I don't feel organized at all. We can also keep in mind that, oh, I wonder if I could match her up right there. Not really, not without starting to create a problem. I mean, maybe I could. That's kind of nice, isn't it? Part of me wants to and part of me doesn't want to. Let me go in this direction. So I have a piece that I'm getting ready to attach to this, and it's a bit smaller, well, shorter, I should say. And that's okay because remember, we are going to end up embellishing this with laces and ribbons and trims and things. So we don't have to be too obsessed that everything's going to fit on here perfectly, because it's, you know, it'll all work itself out. We can always add another piece of, like if I wanted to, I could add a piece of paper down here, but I'm definitely going to do ribbon, so I'm just not going to worry about it. Now I don't know if I got enough adhesive here, so let me go back in there. There we go. I definitely did that time. All right, so I'm just going to keep tearing and placing. Okay, this one is done. It's well, it's not done, but it's ready for me to set it aside and let it dry. I did the bottoms, okay? I painted this part. I know that I showed you that. Then I went around this part. I tore the paper into bits and went around this part. And then let me see the collar of this one. Okay, and then I went around the top. You can see here that I haven't torn these away. I'm waiting for the glue to dry, and I'll probably use sandpaper to do that. I'll pull some of it away, but then I'll use sandpaper to refine the edges. All right, friends, here is what we have so far. This is the red one. So you can see the top is done, the sides are done, this part's done, and the bottom is done. Now before, and the paint's just gonna stay the paint. Before it looked like that, it would have looked like this. This part I did first, but then the top, you can see this is like this, and there's some rough edges even here at the top. So this is where we're gonna, I think what I'm gonna do on this one, I'm sort of experimenting. The other one I cut with scissors, and I couldn't, no, actually I didn't. I think I tore it when it was wet, but this I allowed to dry. Let me see what happens if I cut it with scissors. I'm gonna put a notch right here just so I can get to it. And then we'll just cut around and we'll see if we like that. Of course, we can use sandpaper, and we may end up using sandpaper anyway, just to soften the edge. I mean, okay, it didn't take terribly long. There's definitely some rough edging there. So now if we take our sandpaper, wherever it is, here we go. And this just gets the little bits off of the edge that don't belong there. That's pretty smooth. I don't mind that at all. Now we have some here that we need to get. Another thing that would work great for this is a sanding block if you have one for your nails. That would work great. A nail file would work great. I happen to have big pieces of sandpaper because my husband has a lot of them, and I just snag some when I need them. All right, I think this looks pretty good. It's pretty smooth. This is too. All right, I didn't mind that. I've got a little loose piece right here, and I can tear it off right now, or I can glue it down. Let me see what happens when I tear it off. There we go. So now this one is in the next stage, ready for lace and whatnot. So we've got two of them that are ready for lace and other things that we might decide to put on them. Now, just for fun, let's take this one and let's tear this and see how that works out. I'm tearing this one. It seems like it was maybe a little easier to cut. Yeah, a little messy while I'm tearing. Definitely not as easy. So, okay, so we know that. I guess it was easier to tear when the glue was wet, because that's what I did on the red one. So I'm going to go ahead and tear these. So I'm going to do the rest of these, and then I'll get back with you guys for the embellishment part, which is always the most fun. Now I think it's time to ink them up. So I went around these edges with the sandpaper, I went around these edges, and I went around these edges. And I thought it would be nice to use some ink to just now go around and ink up those edges. I think that looks really nice, you guys. What do you think? That looks good. And then we'll go around these edges as well. Do it on that side, and then we'll also do it on this side. Now we still need to embellish, but that's looking good. I think what I'm going to do is add some stickles as an accent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part, I'm going to go right around the edge where the paper meets the tube part of the hat. And then the next thing I'm going to do is add some here at the top. And I wonder if I want it to be on the edge or right on the top. Let me look at this. I'm going to see if I can do it right on the edge. All right, I think I like that. Well, it's not perfect. Well, let me get a paintbrush and see if I can fix that. All right, I have a fine paintbrush here, and what I'm going to try to do is move this that's on top. I'm going to try to move that more towards the edge. That worked out great. So friends, I put some stickles down there, and then I just spread it out a little bit with my paintbrush. I'm going to leave that to dry. This is the red one that we're working on. Well, it's red and pink really. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some stickles right here around the top. I couldn't find any lace that I liked or that I thought would work nicely, so we're going with the stickles. And then the last thing that we're going to do on these cute little hat gift boxes is we're going to go ahead and put some embellishments on it if I can find some that I think will work nicely. So we got that around there. That looks pretty good. I don't know if I should do it around this edge, but I think I will. Right here, maybe right on this edge. There, now there's a few spots where they don't join, and I'll just see if I can pull those together with the paintbrush. See if I can get them to meet. If I just dab it a little bit, it should work. I don't want there to be like a defining line in between the two. All right, I think we are in pretty good shape here. There, I think we've got it. Very nice. Okay, I'm going to set this aside to dry. The other ones are ready for embellishments, so I'll go ahead and see what I can find for those. On this one, my friends, we are going to put 3 pink roses. I'll do the lightest one in the center. This is the back of the project. I can tell because that's where the trims met. So we're going to go here to the front, and I can twist this any way I want. So I'd like to leave this part of the clock exposed, so let's do the flowers right here, I think. Simply going to use my hot glue gun and place them down. I'm gonna try not to get them in the way of the hat going in and out, but I don't mind them being a little bit close to it, and I meant to say the top. These are pretty small. They're smaller than some of the other ones that I put on, so I might actually do more on the other side. Let's see. I could do 3 groups of 3, or I could go all the way around. I don't know what the best thing to do is. Because I definitely think there should be more. I feel like that anyway. And I wonder if oh, here, let me put this one on top. Oh, that's beautiful. So let's get that one on top real quick. That's beautiful. I love that. All right, I ended up putting the large one on top, and then I ended up doing 5 down here. And I know in total that's an even number, but I like the way it looks. Friends, I hope that you enjoyed the tutorial so that you could see how I made these wonderful top hat gift boxes. I'm going to list some in my Etsy shop. And so if you would like one, head on over and choose the one you would like. I appreciate you being here. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you soon.